thing. With long-lasting tires in place, those drivers were back on the road to saving money. Michelin Hydro Edge tires last up to 33,000 miles longer. Michelin, a better way forward.
Introduce it. Hi, I'm Tom O'Neill. You know, there are just some times in your life when you need a lawyer. Maybe you are buying or selling a house, or preparing your will, or even starting your own business. You could be forming a trust, or even negotiating an oil and gas lease. These are the times when you need someone on your side. Someone who will put your needs first. Someone who will go to bat for you. For your needs in real estate, oil and gas, and estate planning. Give your lawyer a call. Call Tom O'Neill. Putting your needs first.
Two wheels of war, the parts are here at RG Honda Yamaha.
Yeah, man, RG has the only trail-capable side-by-side, the 50-inch Polaris Razor Razor. The only sport performance side-by-side, Polaris Razor S. Only 4-seat sport, Polaris Razor 4. And now, the only extreme performance side-by-side, the all-new 88-horsepower Razor XP 900. Fun starts here at RG Honda Yamaha Polaris, Route 20 south of Clarksburg, Nutter Ford.
As a trash man, the Duke's return. This stuff is cool. It's a bet.
I got a Planet of the Apes, Thermos.
It's a match made in heaven.
You notice he's got a Planet of the Apes lunchbox. How much you gotta have for this?
American Pickers. Tomorrow at 9 on History. Made every day.
It's more than being on target. I am that.
Miss it, miss his mother.
More than shrugging off a miss.
Some sort of race, brother.
More than making your shot count. It's being the last marksman standing. An all-new season of Top Shot premieres Tuesday at 10. So what do we got here?
It's my 1923 vintage Louis Vuitton trunk.
Yeah, this is a classic.
You gotta love the gold LVs all over it.
It stands for Las Vegas.
I'm coming to the pawn shop today to try and sell my vintage Louis Vuitton trunk. I came into this trunk with a friend of mine. We were doing an estate cleaning. I found it in the basement of a house that we were cleaning out. It was in the garbage as far as they were concerned, and I rescued it.
Yeah, that's amazing. Have you done any research on it or anything like that?
I have. I contacted Louis Vuitton. The year of the trunk is from 1923. It was sold to an affluent family in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it was stenciled for them.
Yeah, because someone of means bought this thing. Today, everyone knows Louis Vuitton for their handbags. But back in the day, they weren't known for handbags. They were known for luggage. So what do you know about the stickers?
Well, I know this one here says the Cunard line, and that was the company that owned Lusitania.
Yeah, Cunard was, built luxury ships. White Star was another great line. It was out of England. They had beautiful ships. They had the Titanic. But back there, one time this trunk was on a Cunard and a White Star ship. It makes you wonder all the places it's been. Back in the day, you didn't go on vacation. You went on tour, okay? And then you were a tourist. It was 5 days by sea, maybe 5 or 6 days in England, take a ferry over to France. And that's why, if you see the movie Titanic, this was the small bag that was brought on there. Louis Vuitton actually made giant portable closets. They could be this big, that tall, literally. When you were on vacation back then, it was a 1 month, 2 month, 3 month adventure. It wasn't a weekend in Paris. It was a month in Paris. And it's good old Louis Vuitton quality. This thing is in amazing condition.
The condition of the trunk is remarkable. There's no tears, there's no rips in it, there's no mildew or mold. The silk lined inside is great shape. All the hinges work. This thing is in probably excellent condition, I would say, for the year and the age of it.
So you want to pawn it or sell it? Or?
I'd like to sell it.
And how much do you want for it?
Well, I don't know if my hopes are high, but I'd like $15,000.
Yeah, your hopes are real high. I mean, when you're talking $15,000, you're beginning to talk like the trunks I told you about.
What's the more realistic idea than in your eyes?
I'm assuming this thing's worth around $4 grand, $4,500 if I'm lucky.
Well, I've done a lot of different research on the internet, just looking at ones that sold in the past, and there were some between $12,000 and $20,000. So,
if you want to put it in an auction, go ahead. Just so you know, they're going to charge you 30-40%. And even in an auction, I don't see you getting more than like $4,500 for this thing. And then they're going to charge you for anything.
Right.
I really love this. I'd love to have it, but $2,500 is what I'm willing to pay.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit less than I was hoping for today.
Okay. Sorry we couldn't make a deal, but thanks for bringing it in, man.
$2,500 is an absolute rip-off. I'm negotiable, but that's just out of line.
Bird other day, a guy brought in a signal cannon that he claims is a replica, but I'm not too sure. It looks pretty old, so I called in my buddy Sean so he could check it out.
Hey, John. Rick. I'm an expert in antique arms and armor, and I've been collecting since I was 10, and I've been dealing professionally for over 20 years. Rick, what are your concerns?
Oh, I thought it might be real. I don't know. I've never seen one of the damn things before.
This is what they call a signal cannon, but more commonly known in the antique arms and armor circles as a thunderbug. Signal cannons like this were primarily used from the 16th century through the 18th century. And they were used on shipboard primarily for signaling into harbor. When a ship comes in, you want to make a loud report so they can send an inspection crew out, make sure you're not carrying the plague. If you can imagine with the plague, everybody was afraid. I mean, it could wipe out whole villages, whole seaports. So it was very, very important to have these ships inspected.
When I think of a cannon, you never really think of something that small. You know what I mean?
This was really designed to save on powder because you wouldn't want to waste all that powder on a big cannon to make the same kind of noise. Unfortunately, there's no markings on it to really give you exactly where it came from, but you can tell by the form that it's, European, most likely France, England. It does have a wonderful patina, especially these colors in here, the greens and the reds. That shows, it's indicative of age. Also, this is bronze and kind of a mixture between bronze and brass, which is definitely of that period. This is not a reproduction. It's real.
Okay.
The 16th century through the 18th century. From all my experience, I can tell from the shape and the form that this is definitely authentic to the period.
What do you think it's worth?
Realistically, in today's market, I would say 600 to 800.
Okay. Thanks for coming in, Sean.
Absolutely, anytime.
I see this all the time. Most people don't know what they have. It just goes to show you got to do your research and you got to know what you have before you sell it. So what do you want for it?
Well, after listening to him, I feel it's worth some pretty good value.
Okay. How much you feel it's worth?
I would feel around $400.
I'll give you $300 for it.
Can't you do better than that?
I really don't want to. My only problem with this thing is if I sit on the shelf, how many people are going to know what it is?
Well, it's a unique item. How about $350?
Yeah, I'll do $350.
Sounds like a good deal.
Okay, tell me to go right about. I'm happy I was able to buy the Thunderbug. Now all I have to do is take it to the desert and test it. Because not only will it be worth more if it fires, but it's so much easier to sell an item if you know everything about it. Earlier I met with a guy who wanted to pawn his Volvo semi-truck for $20,000. $20,000 is a lot of money. And before I give this guy a loan, I have to make sure this truck is in good shape. So I had Wally check it out, make sure there's no problems with it. So hey, Wally, what'd you find out? Wally has good news for me, I'll give the guy the 20 grand. Wally has bad news, the deal's off.
Went through, did all the service on it, checked it out. Everything looks really good.
This engine is a monster. What exactly is it?
That's like a 550 horsepower Cummins, and it's got all the bells and whistles you'd ever ask for. And it's got the electronic fuel injection. It's all programmed. It's computer controlled. So it's a pretty safe and pretty efficient vehicle. You can probably pull the whole pawn shop uphill.
550 horsepower, that's enough power to tow like 80,000 pounds. And it's almost enough horsepower to tow Chumley and Corey. So is there any difference on owning this than there is any other car truck I've had?
Well, not really. It's just that with everything, you don't want to let it sit for a long period of time. You want to run it about once a month, maybe drive it a little bit, and just start it and make sure it warms up good.
So what do you think? What's the final version? Should I give him the 20 grand?
I think you're in real shape doing that, and no problems with this truck.
Thanks so much, Wally. I really appreciate it.
All right, we'll get you out of here now.
Okay. Now that Wally said the truck is in great shape, all I gotta do now is drive the truck back to the shop and give the guys 20 grand. Breaker 19, big house, John Lake, Big Daddy's coming home.
After Rick and the old man bought this winemaking machine, I decided I would